my friends, glad to see you made it. We're gathered here today in the name of Jesus Christ. Glory be to God, He's alive. Today, my friends, I got a message, and sometimes my messages, are out there for everybody, the general public, or the masses, or, just a good word to anybody who may be passing by or whatnot. But today's message is an individual message, and maybe this message is for you, and we're not alone. We're not alone. And so specifically, I want to speak to Teresa today. I told you how I would pray and ask God for an answer, and I believe God has answered that prayer for an answer. And that's the thing, good news with Jesus Christ is He's got the answers to all wisdom, all questions, and all things. And so if you like, open your Bible to 2 Peter and read through 2 Peter. It's very short, but today I just want to speak to you. Sometimes we're all full of BS, and we love to BS you, but today let's just get rid of that and speak heart to heart. Because you asked me a question. You said, boy, Dave, I'm going to go to hell. And the reason I'm going to hell is because there's no way in my heart, in my life, under the circumstances I've lived under, can I forgive a pedophile. And listen, you said, how do you do it? I share a video with you, the old man who forgives the murderer of his son. And you say, yeah, wow, I see it. I see people all the time, they have that, and yeah, they can forgive, but not me. And because I'm not going to be able to forgive, I'm just going to go to hell. I'm not going to let it go. And you said, how do you do it? How do you do it? And I say, well, you got to give it to Jesus. And this is the thing that I want you to remind you of all of this stuff in the world. That He forgives you. One of the things that why we can't forgive them is because we can't admit to ourselves, we're not going to admit it. It was my fault I got in that situation. It was my fault that these bad things came upon me, because I could have not went in that room. I could have not did something. Oh, if I only went and played with my friends instead. No, I set myself up for this problem. And I'm not going to admit that. And I'm telling you now, you don't have to admit that. Because it's not your fault. And it never happened to you for no other reason than what God, Jesus Christ, has done for you already in life. It's not your fault. And now I want to tell you. You say, I can't forgive them. And I say, give it to Jesus, because this is what Jesus has always said. But I forgive you. You say, but I can't forgive him. And Jesus Christ says, but listen, I forgive you. Right? I don't know about them. And Jesus says, I don't need you to go get revenge. I don't need you to go do nothing. I don't need you to be angry. This is all I want you to know. I forgive you. And it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault. That's the thing. Sometimes we can't forgive ourselves. And we ain't going to forgive that hate, that evil, that wickedness that came upon us. But Jesus says, okay, I forgive you. In America, and I know you're from New Zealand, but Google it, American football. In American football, they got these guys, they got 10 guys, and one guy's the captain of all 10 guys, and he's in charge of all of them. He's called the quarterback. And then they have another team on the other side, and these got 11 guys over there, 11 this side, 11 on that side, and those guys are like a mighty warriors. This is real in America. We love crushing bones. If they could grab their hands on that quarterback, they would crush his bones. And we live here in Colorado, in Bronco country. Bronco country. What is it? Bronco is a horse. Not just any horse, but a mean, wild stallion of a horse. The greatest of all horses. And it's so mean, we want to get on its back and see who can stay on its back the longest as he tries to buck us off, because he's wild. He's a bronco. Here in Bronco country, we got this guy, and he's like Peyton Manning. World's greatest quarterback ever lived. Broke every record that could be broken. In charge, captain. Everybody goes to that guy for answers. He tells everybody what to do, and he's got 3 options. He can say hike, and they got this ball, and they give him the ball, and he's got 3 options. I can take this ball, and I can run as fast as I can, because the goal is to get a touchdown at the end of the field. And there's 11 guys that want to do nothing but break his ribs, crush him, beat him down. No way are you scoring a touchdown on us. So he's got an option. I can take this and I can run by myself. I got another option. I can hand it off to my buddy, and he's just sitting back, and my buddy's like, yeah, give me the ball, and I'll run it. But again, you got all those guys and all these warriors and enemies can do everything they can to stop you. Or he's got a third option, and he can throw that ball to a receiver. A guy who receives something. And in that he can receive a ball. And he can throw that to that receiver. Jesus Christ says, I'm the most ultimate athlete, the nimble. My feet can jump from mountain to mountain like the gazelle of a deer. I'm the world's greatest. Peyton Manning, the quarterback, charge of everything. Protecting everyone. Telling everyone how to do it. God's great authority. And Jesus, wide receiver, goes out for the pass. Just throw me the ball, and I'll score that touchdown. You don't have to score the touchdown. I'll do it for you. All you got to do is throw me the ball. In says, just, I know you can't forgive. Just let me do it. Let me worry about those things. And we don't have to worry about it. All He's called us to do is believe in Him. And this is what we are to believe in when we believe in Him. You're forgiven. You're forgiven. And you're not going to go to hell. Sometimes we forget, and Jesus says, hey, I tried to warn you. They're going to hate you for no other reason than you're my son. Jesus was lover of all lovers. But did you ever notice Jesus couldn't heal himself? Jesus sitting there on the Mount of Olives, praying out so hard he's crying. Blood is dripping from his body. Couldn't the Comforter, the great Comforter, God, couldn't be comforted. Says, friends, pray for me 1 hour. And he goes off and he comes back and they're sleeping. You couldn't even pray for me for 1 hour? Let me give you another chance. Pray for me. No one fell asleep. And again he goes and prays and could not find comfort in anything other than fulfilling God's will. That's it. Great sorrow, great pain and suffering, because he could not be comforted until he fulfilled God's will. His friends couldn't comfort him. Nobody on earth could comfort him. His prayers couldn't comfort him. His flesh certainly wasn't comforting him. But his faith in God, in the will to do God's will. And he says, believe that you're forgiven. You're forgiven. You know? Sometimes in life we forget that Yeah, we walked through the fire, hell. And I'm here. Why am I here? Because you're forgiven. Holy and righteous to God. Your hate for the murder and hate and rape and violation. Yeah, that's because you're his son, his daughter. Your inability to find love in this dying, dead world says it's because you're a daughter. Right? Sometimes we think we're above reproach, above pains, above sufferings, above abuse. Jesus, our Father, was murdered. Murdered. And those others chose a murderer to rule over them rather than life. God. Barabbas, son of father. That's what that name means. Barabbas. Who do we want to release? Jesus of Nazareth, God of gods, or Barabbas, the son of father? And they all chose the son of father. They all chose Barabbas, the murderer and the rioter, to go free, to rule over them. But we have a greater hope. Remember, all the earth and everything on the earth, even our bodies, we're going to be thrown one day into that lake of fire. And it'll be rolled up like a scroll. God. But we have a greater hope than that. Because we know all things have been made new. And that's what we're waiting for. The eternal God who is, always has been, always was, and yet is to come. And that's what our faith is in. His promise. And His promise has been always from the beginning. And we so focused there out on the world and the things that are hurting the world. But this is the thing. He's forgiven you. He's given life to you. Even though we look in the world and we worry about the things we're doing, things we're unable to overcome, when we forget that, it's not about us. That's the part Jesus wanted to remind you. He chose you. He chose you. And He chose you to do one thing. Not to go get angry and not to be upset and not to see a vengeance be performed. He chose you for one thing. Just tell them this. That He's forgiven you. And He loves you. That's all He's ever asked. He says you just tell Him that He's forgiven you. And He loves you. You don't have to do it anymore. Just give it to Jesus. Jesus Christ can forgive all things. Jesus Christ is justice. And no murder, there's no hate in Jesus Christ. I know, we're all so willing to throw men in fire or hell, but God says, this is the thing, is don't think that God isn't long-suffering. He's so long-suffering that a day to God is like 1,000 years. And 1,000 years to God are like one day. But God has always been waiting for you to believe. Believe what? That you're forgiven. And it wasn't your fault. And you are loved by God. Cared for by God.
So let me kind of...
And so let me remind you that God's not going to burn away the earth or any of the people on it. But God is God's will. And God is unwilling to allow any man or person to perish. He's just been waiting for you to believe it. And yeah, we live in a world of wickedness, surrounded by wickedness, and it vexes our soul to the point of great sorrow. But in the end, Jesus Christ forgave you. And He loves you. Just go tell them. Jesus Christ has forgiven me. And He loves me. And the rest, give to Jesus. His yoke is light. His burden is easy. You know, He's the great receiver. I receive your prayers. I hear every word you say. And I'm coming soon to answer them. Says the Lord our God. Will not leave you. Will not forsake you. But is coming to deliver you out of the hand of the evil one. May the glory of God bless you today. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, our Father, who lives in heaven, how mighty is your name, how mighty is your love, your grace, and your glory, which reigns on us each and every day. Let the power of your kingdom come, so that we may be delivered from the hands of the evil one, from the voices of unfaithfulness. Rain today your daily bread. Give us today our daily portion. So we are hungry, tired, and weary. Release us from our burdens and our problems. Release us from that which has taken over power over us. The hate and the anger of this world. Let us be blind to your wrath and open to your love, your grace and your mercy. Increase our grace, increase our mercies, increase our faith in the things that have already been finished and in the things that are to come. Your glory and your eternal love, which has been stored up for us, the children of your promise. Bless Teresa and her home. Fill it full of joy, happiness, and mercy. Put a new song in her heart, Father. A song of holiness. Holy, holy, and worthy is the Lamb who was slain. Sing with great joy and gratitude. As the Lord our God is in us, with us, always. For we are forever seeking His kingdom, His power, and His glory. Let His will be done, here on earth, just as it is in heaven. Amen. I pray you have been blessed today, and I've answered your question that, I know it's hard to admit that we're really angry at ourselves. We're getting ourselves in a bad spot. But you never did that. You are faithfully trusting Jesus Christ to protect you and to guide over you, to love you, to care for you. And then those who were entrusted to do those things didn't hold up to their end of the bargain. And Jesus said, just relax. I got it under control. He's got it under control. Just relax. And take good joy in knowing you're forgiven. You're loved. And you're one of His. See you next time.